It's time to feel the rage. Welcome to Film Rage, where we talk movies. It has been about 8 weeks of social distancing, which is the amount of time it takes for the initial phase of healing and recovery from knee replacement surgery. Of course, you will still have to do months of physical therapy, but that's not what we're here to talk about. Back on course, directors and actors beware, as you cannot hide from the rage. My name is Bryce and I'm part of the Film Rage crew, which also includes Jim, once again contacting us from a great distance. Hello, Jim.
Hey.
So, with the introductions out of the way, let's rage on.
Well, we never thought this day would come, but this week we're going to be talking drama. And we're going to create drama. We're going to talk about it and we're going to create it.
Cool.
This week on the agenda we have streaming. What a surprise. Our list update. Film genre favorites, which is actually drama, which is such a big field. Open rage, rage or dare, contest. Oh, we had the contest winners last week. And then we're going to close. So
nice.
You saw how awake I am today. This has been a long week already. What is
gonna be one of those
Friday?
shows.
Is it Saturday? Is it Friday? I don't know.
It's actually Wednesday, my friend.
Oh, Wednesday, right. Thank you. I'm awake. So, streaming last week, we limited ourselves, but first, streaming. Motherfucking streaming. Right?
Streaming.
Well, you got to see the fantastic South by Southwest film. I think it was South by Southwest. Villains.
Yeah, I did.
What'd you think?
I really like this movie. From the opening scene, it seemed like it might be a lot of fun, and that's exactly what it was. Movie delivered the rest of the way. Jeffrey Donovan and Kira Sedgwick are tremendous as George and Gloria, who are not your typical happy couple. Everything pretty much worked for me in this movie. My favorite line from the movie is when George said, "One thing's for sure, you're a bit too spry for my liking," just before he fires a bullet into the leg of our, I guess you could call him one of the protagonists. His name's Mickey, played by Bill Skarsgård. Although, there aren't really a lot of good guys or bad guys in this film. Maybe more bad guys and worse guys. This break and enter really goes wrong. Mickey and Jules definitely picked the wrong house to break into. Still enjoyed it all. Even the bittersweet ending worked for me. I say Mondo. What do you say, Jim?
I did like a lot about this one. I thought it had a lot of potential as I started watching it. I love the whole beginning, the setting things up. I'm a huge Bill Skarsgård fan, and Kira Sedgwick. So, this had a lot of potential for me to love this movie. But the remaining cast, I felt they didn't bring the heat is what I was wanting. I felt the pacing, I kind of knew when I was watching this that you would like it a little bit more than me. The pacing was very slow and methodical, which I was hoping that it would have a little bit more push to it. And it never got to like a really big climax. Yeah, see, the weird level and creep level was wound up to 10 right from the very beginning, which I love. And it was...
And it sustained it.
The characters... It kept the right amount of creepiness, but then it kind of just settled into a routine, I found, and it lost some of its creep factor. If you looked at the beginning part of the movie, it had a bunch of really cool shots, and then it just kind of settled.
Whatever. At the end of the movie, it had some awesome shots. Kira Sedgwick standing over, at the end of that movie.
Oh, yeah, no.
How good was that?
I'm not saying I didn't like that part of it. There was a lot about this that I liked. I think that if it could have kept the elevation of the creep factor, but it just settled onto a specific level of creep factor. So, did I like this movie? Yes. Do I love a lot of the actors in it? Yes. Did I think the character development was well? Yes. There's a lot of things that I liked about it. I just didn't love it because I wanted it to stay where it had got me to in the movie, and then it didn't completely push me over the edge. It was kind of like what the scene. I don't want to give obviously too much away, but there's the scene where Skarsgård's locked up after they knock him out, and he's lying in bed, and he wakes up, and the creep factor there is just fantastic.
It is.
But then they throw him down in the basement. It's kind of like, okay, whatever. It's now a basement dwelling film. I was like, okay, where are the people under the stairs? Oh wait, there's a little girl. That's a person under the stairs. It just didn't have any more creep to me. It just kept into this. It was just like at that point.
It was solid, man. Solid. And entertaining throughout. Entertaining throughout. I haven't been mondoing much lately, but I would say this was a mondo. You are wrong.
Well, I'm glad you liked it, but it didn't stay creepy for the whole movie, so it didn't get to stay mondo. I'm sorry.
All right. So what else did we see, Jim?
Well, we saw the half of it.
Yeah,
and
we did.
This one, yeah, I don't think you like this one nearly as much as I do. I think we have a little bit of reversing here.
Yeah, apparently I didn't because it was not great.
Well, it's funny because I actually really like this movie.
Tell me why, Jim.
I found, it's written and directed by Alex Wu.
Yep.
It's streamed on Netflix. I love the music score. The soundtrack to me was amazing. The timing and delivering of the main actress, Leah Lewis, I thought was flawless.
Actors were great.
Her voice and the attitude totally reminded me of a Chinese Miley Cyrus. And for me, that's a plus. I am a huge Miley Cyrus fan.
Okay.
This film was quirky and sweet. I loved it. My favorite line.
I'm not. By the way, just to interrupt
movie,
you for a second before you get to your favorite line.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure what a Miley Cyrus is.
Oh well, you go look on the internet, and then you can get back to me.
All right.
She's actually probably one of the biggest pop icons out there, but she's got a real creepy vibe to her. She's obviously she was Hannah Montana or something like that. I don't know, but she's into a lot of weird stuff like me. So she's a big fan.
I don't know what Hannah Montana is either.
There you go. So no big deal. Anyway, I was channeling that through the main actress in this. Again, my favorite line: "I'm a Russian doll of clothing." It's kind of like that coming of age Breakfast Club type film. I liked the fact that it was it was the development of this woman who, she was all alone really for herself, and there's a lot of pain and suffering, but they brought it in a way that they just kind of kept you at the peripheral of it. Well, I fell in love with the characters,
and I don't blame you for falling in love with the characters. I just didn't like the script. I'm telling you, Cyrano de Bergerac ripoffs never seem to work for me, and this one doesn't either. I will admit that the relationship between the father and the daughter after the mother had passed away interested me, but that should have been the film. The scene where Ellie's father tells her, "We didn't come here so you could be like me. We came here so you could be like your mother." That was good stuff. That could have been the basis for an excellent movie. Instead, we got this goofy Cyrano clone that left me asking why. I really liked these characters. I just wish they were in a different story. That makes this a meh. It doesn't make it a rage, but it makes it a meh, because I'm agreeing. I love these characters. They were great. I did not like this story. This could have been such a good movie with the characters that were in it, just not in the way that they did it.
Yeah, and I guess we'll have to agree to disagree. I thought the director, writer, Alice Wu, I thought she did a really good job. It's probably in that expectation of what you're expecting from this film. And I was expecting this to be the worst movie I've ever seen.
So was I actually
read on it.
when I read the blurb and you said we're gonna stream this. What do you think? Or which ones do you want to stream? I was like, okay, let's stream this one because it's gonna be a hard rage and we'll have some some interesting topic to converse about. But it ended up being, as I said before, just disappointing.
Said, yeah, it made it to Mondo for me, and I like the so it's got an LGBTQ theme to it, and what was cool is I didn't know a lot what was happening. Again, I don't want to be told certain things, and I felt that the writer kept a lot of things close to her heart. Yeah, they had the traditional douchebag football player, and they had the pretty princess, and they had because they filtered in all these little things into their characters. It made you care about them. And then when you kind of knew that the main character was a lesbian, but it wasn't so much that it was talked about. I think what I really liked about this, and for people that are fans of the LGBTQ community, is that this seems like real life to me now. Like, I'm not in high school, so I don't really know. But to me, it felt, because there's still the football crowd. And then there's these awkward, there's a lot of awkwardness that goes through these type of teenage movies. But I felt that this one, because she was such a loner, and some of the interactions she had with each one of the characters, and the ending to me, it was very sweet.
We could have had a lot of that without the goofy Cyrano crap that just absolutely fell flat, and that's what just killed this movie.
See, I thought it was funny. I never took him seriously as a character.
Could have been so good. And I love the character so much that it's still a meh, because I could easily have raged if I could have found a reason to not like any of these characters. But I really, almost every character in it, I had affection for. I just wish they weren't in this convoluted, ridiculous story.
Well, I guess we've got another one. We got a flip, and now we're moving on to the next one.
We're moving on. So
I think it may be the same in the next one.
Well,
let's
let's take a look. We got The Stand at Paxton County from 2020. This was also on Netflix, was it? I think possibly. Yes. No.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, I think Villains was on the Amazon, the Prime.
Yeah.
Half of it, and The Stand at Paxton County were both Netflix. So.
You're right.
That's from 2020 to this year. I think they just got released on Netflix recently. I wanted to like this movie. I really did. I think it's important that stories like this are told. I just wish that a better writer and director were telling the story. The original true story of a North Dakota rancher fighting corruption to save his livestock from government seizure is a story that is worthy of a movie. Unfortunately, we got this sensationalistic and ridiculous piece of crap. So many convenient coincidences and improbable situations that we do not have time to list them all. Let me just say, save your time and Google Gary Dassinger instead and read about the real story. And let's pretend that this movie never happened. So much rage for this one. What does Jim think?
Yeah, I can argue with absolutely one. Well, I'm going to argue with one thing that you said. However, yes. I will not argue with anything about how terrible this movie was. As I was watching it, I kept going to myself, why does anybody care about this? And interestingly enough, one of the people, if you did a bit of more reading about this movie in particular,
yep,
there happens to be one of the executive producers is a guy. Hold on here, I'm trying to find it. His last name.
Jim's so prepared.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm so not prepared sometimes, but it happens sometimes.
Yes.
The guy, one of the executive producers of this, Forrest Lucas. Okay, you're gonna love to hear about this guy. So he is. He's an oil guy right away. Not. I mean, who doesn't love oil? We live in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. It's something that's important for our well-being here in Alberta.
Yeah.
But we know, Mo, that there's a lot of oil companies out there that are not very cool people.
Yeah.
This guy in particular is a douchebag. And this film, as much as you thought there was something, they're sprinkling into this the politics, basically funded by this guy. He started a non-profit organization called Protect the Harvest.
Yeah, I know.
It's an American non-profit advocacy organization founded by Forrest Lucas, which opposes the radical animal rights movement, and particularly the Humane Society of the United States.
Yep. It
right
does.
Away I go.
I know.
And the reason that he's trying to make us hate big government and make us hate the people, it's sprinkled into it because he wants to do his farming the way he wants to, which is by not treating animals the way they need to be treated.
Yeah, having said that, this particular person does not fit quite into the category that the broad vehicle behind that particular movement is kind of about. It's a little gray there, but yes, the actual organization sucks.
Yeah. Well, and him in general. I'm calling him out.
Yeah, that dude sucks. The dude that the movie's about, he's all right.
Yeah, well, no, but he's probably a guy that wants to run a farm the way that, old-time farming should have been run.
Yeah. Right?
Where the animals get to roam the range and, live at least. I know you're not a big supporter of eating meat, so even the fact of them being killed.
But it's more of a horse ranch.
For you. Yeah, but that's what I mean, right? I mean, regardless of it, we need to have animal rights because animals, even if we are going to eat them, they need to be treated humanely. Is all I want to say about it. So if you do go into this and you do want to learn more about this, repeat the name of that ridiculous organization. Oh, the ridiculous organization is Protect the Harvest. So if you come across Protect the Harvest stuff, it's just propaganda. Probably, you can read it if you want, but take it with a grain of salt because it's got an agenda. Absolutely. So, I didn't have much that I wrote down about this. It's just so stupid. This is the note I made for myself. Netflix Hallmark Movie of the Week says. That's about the sum of it. Can't disagree with that at all. It was a rage. It was a hard rage. Hard rage. Hard rage, matey. That'd be the pirates with it. Dang rage. But that's way. All right. So, on that note, you've got a surprise for me. I do have a surprise for you. I'm so excited. All right, sir. We got the Mesmerized, we got the Undoubted, and the Doubted. What do you got for me this week? You kind of challenged me to come up with a Mesmerized. Step up your game? And I said, screw that. I'm not going to come up with a Mesmerized. I'm going to come up with an Undoubted. And I've done this before, and it blew up in my face, but I think it's a slam dunk. All right. I don't think that this guy can stay off the list, but let's see what Jim thinks. Oh, I'm so excited. Yes. This is such a rarity. The man's name is Jon Bernthal. And I am nominating him for Undoubted. Here. How's his last name spelled? What's that? Last name spelled? Bernthal. Bern? Yes, Thal. I don't know why I can't get this. I'm looking it up on IMDb. Just give it to me. I'll see if I can know it. Exactly. I'm going to give you the films anyways. I don't know what you need to look up. So, let's go backwards. So we'll go from the most recent. Ford versus Ferrari, 2019. That's a Mondo for me. Yeah, Mondo. The Peanut Butter Falcon, 2019. Also a Mondo for me. Yeah, that was a Mondo for me. Widows from 2018. That was a meh. It was good, but it was a meh. What was the last one?
Widows.
Widows. I don't know if I've seen that.
Okay, well.
Keep going.
So then we've got Shot Caller from 2017, which you may not have seen it, but it is a mondo. It is so good.
Okay, nope, haven't seen Shot Caller.
Then we've got Pilgrimage from 2017. Also 2017, which was mondo. We've got Sweet Virginia from 2017, which I thought was mondo. We've got Baby Driver from 2017. Mondo.
Mondo.
What a 2017 this guy had. Wind River from 2017. Mondo. That's 8 back. And you could keep on going because before that we had The Accountant from 2016. Mondo. We Are Your Friends from 2015, which was meh. Sicario, which for me from 2015 was mondo. I guess I would kind of screw us for this if these was on the list, though, because you kind of thought that it was meh for some reason, because
there was a double whammy mess.
You're not.
And
really
actually, Wind River was a mess to me too. So.
And before that, he was in Me and Earl and The Dying Girl, which was also mondo.
Was also a mondo.
Yeah. So I mean, the guy picks awesome movies to be in, and for a guy that's kind of a supporting actor, it's amazing that he just keeps on getting these roles. The only thing he really starred in. He starred in a couple of them, but he was definitely the star of Sweet Virginia. But he's just been in nothing but good stuff. And when you see his face, he's one of those guys that if you don't know him, you'll see his face and you go, "Oh yeah, I know that guy." So it's
all right. So
you might have a little research to do, eh?
I've got to see Widows, and I got to see Shot Caller.
Right. So,
but everything else is. Okay, I just want to back that up. Go from back to front again. Just because Wind River was a meh for me. And Baby Driver was a mondo.
Okay,
yeah, it was
then you're good.
Buddy.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
We're still in business here.
Okay. Widows and Shot Caller. Now, not to bring up the fact that you haven't given your final vote for the challenges that I gave you, but you've got to see some Rodriguez's film.
Yeah, I'm just dreading watching this Shark Girl Lava Boy thing.
Versus Lava. Well, watch it. Maybe it'll be a rage, and you won't have to watch any other ones.
That's going to be the first one I watch because
Yeah, do it. Be prepared. It's a kid show.
I know.
It could possibly make you rage.
I have enjoyed many kid shows.
Yeah, you have.
So we shall see. But yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to commit to see Widows and Shot Caller.
Okay, so
as long as I can find them.
If you commit to that, I will definitely see the what is it?
Rodriguez
the Shot Girl, Lava Girl Part 7 or something. I think it's 4.
And if there's any other ones you haven't seen.
Yeah, I think it's 4, but yeah. No,
all right.
I will definitely, by next week, we'll both have a verdict on these. Yes.
Yes, we will.
Right. Sounds excellent.
Good name, buddy. That's a good name.
Yeah.
I'm super stoked.
Yeah, something a little different this time. He's not super mainstream. He's not a household name, but man, the guy just picks good roles, and you got to think that he's got a part in that.
Yeah, what we have to start doing as we continue to go forward with our list is we have to continue to vet them, unless they're now retired or dead, right? We have to make sure that we continue to see their films. Which, we shouldn't be a challenge for us at all, actually.
No, not at all. All right, sir. So from there...
Well, it's going to get dramatic in here, people.
And that's why we got the dramatic music happening.
Dramatic music, that's right. I feel something's going to happen. What's going to happen? Something's going to happen.
Release of the best dramatic films in the history of cinema is what's going to happen. That
is correct. Well, I'm going to blast through my honorable mentions. This was torture, by the way. Anybody who listens to us, making a list of your favorite dramas was torture. It was literally the worst exercise we've ever had until we get to the horror genre.
I had a short list of like 80, man, and then I narrowed it down to like 40, and it was out of hand. I didn't know there was that many awesome dramas, but apparently there is.
you know what? You got to say there's probably more dramas than anything else.
Yeah. Well, you know.
It falls into, there's drama, comedy. There's drama
Dramedies.
horror. There's drama suspense. Dramedies. Yeah. Like there's rom-com drama.
Drama.
To dumb. But, you know, that's the thing. Dramas can be so many things. And I think you're going to find off my list, as I'm sure I'm going to see on your list, some people might say that's not a
drama.
That's a comedy.
Exactly.
That's this. That's that. So, all right. Well, here's my honorable mentions. Number 10 on my honorable mention is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. In my opinion, I think it's Jack Nicholson at his best.
Yep.
Apocalypse Now. Great emotional journey into madness with some of the best actors ever brought into one movie.
Yep.
Number 8, Fight Club. Ed, Brad, and Meatloaf. Plus,
how good was Meatloaf?
Oh, Meatloaf is brilliant, and written by one of my favorite writers, Chuck Palahniuk. Love this guy as a writer. If you haven't read any of his stuff, brilliant writer. American History X. It made it to my honorable mentions. We talked about this.
Yep.
I had to watch it. In my mind, this movie was in my top 5. And I had to rewatch it over the weekend, and it dropped to honorable mention.
Sometimes that happens.
I want to put a little bit of a preface here. Some of these movies, going back, like we talked a little bit about this one in particular. If I watch this one today and compare it to it coming out today, it might not have made my top 20. But when I seen this in the theater when it first came out, this blew my mind.
Yep.
And I had to go back to there. In rewatching it, it still holds a good test of time, but there's some dated things in it that I found that wasn't where I wanted to be.
Kept it out of the top 10.
About that. That's right. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing. Some of my favorite actors in a brilliant display of sorrow and loss. Francis and Sam were brilliant.
Yep.
Number 5, honorable mention, Jackie Brown. Quentin's great dramatic masterpiece, and bringing Pam Grier back to the spotlight. Hell yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't, as good as Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes, it was. It was so much better that I don't even want to talk about that. Number 4, honorable mention, is from my buddy Taika Waititi. His second film, and man, he nailed it. It is Boy.
Boy was so good.
Yep. 3, honorable mention, What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Yep.
Leo, Johnny, Juliet, brilliant story, and Johnny and Leo's greatest work together.
Good stuff.
Number 2, Moonrise Kingdom by Wes Anderson and crew.
Yep.
Bring the countdown fun and love. It's a great film.
It is.
Number 1, honorable mention, and this bounced around into my top, out of my top, into my top, out of my top. A Clockwork Orange by Kubrick.
Yeah.
Masterpiece. Malcolm McDowell is brilliant.
Yep.
All right, the top 10. Number 10, another film by Quentin Tarantino, Inglourious Basterds. By far, my favorite Quentin film. I love everything about this movie. It's fantastic.
Yeah, but it was no Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
You're right. It was good. Number 9 is Frank. This actually screened at Calgary Underground Film Fest.
Yeah, Frank was great.
Spoke to my musician soul. Quirky, and the music is brilliant. Michael Fassbender and Domhnall Gleeson. My favorite tough opening gala that I've seen. I watch this annually just to remind me to stay weird and love music.
Nice.
Number 8, Ed Wood by Tim Burton.
Cool.
Get serious, and when he does, he blows your mind. Number 7, Fargo, the Coens. This movie is pure bliss. From the used car lot in Minnesota right down to the wood chipper in the woods. Number 6, Salome's Last Dance. This is my favorite Ken Russell film. Be prepared to open your mind to a visionary, brilliant director. The color and costumes of this comedy and sarcasm. This is a perfect Ken Russell film. If you've never seen any of his works, start with this and then just keep working yourself into a weird frenzy of fabulousness. Number 5, my favorite Woody Allen movie, Manhattan. I think it's his best drama, and I think it is a perfect example of Woody in this era when he was in this time frame. Number 4, Hotel Rwanda. This film changed my mind to the world around me. And I did not even know that this was a real thing that was happening until I seen this film. After seeing this movie, 2 things happened. Number 1, I fell in love with Don Cheadle. And number 2, I started reading and researching more about world issues. This film, of all the dramas, I feel changed me more about the importance of social issues and had the biggest impact on my beliefs as a person.
It was powerful.
I love this movie.
So powerful.
Number 3, It's a Wonderful Life. Although a lot of people take this as a Christmas movie, I see it as one of the most important films about love of the community in trying times. This film plays as strongly today as when it was produced in 1946. I cry my cold, dead heart melts every time this film ends when the entire people in the town come and bring the banker all their money. Now, you may ask, is it because I'm a banker and we deserve all the money? That's possible. But I think this movie is just a perfect movie.
Cool.
Number 2, and I watched this on the weekend again because it was my number 1, and it got bumped out to number 2. Shawshank Redemption.
There you go.
Directed by Frank Darabont, written by Stephen King, starring Morgan Freeman and Tim Robbins. Who thought a horror writer could write some of the best dramas ever made? This film is perfect in every way, and in my belief, gave Morgan Freeman a career as a voice-over actor. Revenge is a dish served not cold, but through a river of shit.
Yes.
Number 1, my number 1 favorite drama of all time is by one of our favorite directors who's going to make the list this year, Rushmore. Although this could make the top of my comedy list, as well as probably every list that it's in, because it's got everything in there. By far my favorite drama. At its core, this is a coming-of-age love story. I love this film. Its humor, musical score, every actor in this film, as always, Wes Anderson. It is, in my opinion, Wes Anderson's best film, who also happens to be one of my favorite directors outside of horror genre. This movie is the best drama ever made.
Cool.
Mic drop. Over to you.
All right, sir. So I'm going to just preface my list by saying I've tried not to overlap my lists. So movies that have been on other lists will not be here. I understand we're probably going to be doing some foreign language films next week. That is one of the 2 categories where I may have to overlap some of my selections, the other being horror. At some point, I think we should kind of do our overall any category top 10 favorites. But this will be, at least a few weeks down the road. Anyway, here we go with my favorite dramas of all time. I got 9 runners up. I'll just blast through them. Wendy and Lucy from 2008, about a girl and her dog. Simple story, perfectly told. Michelle Williams at her best. 7, 1995. Brad Pitt screaming, "What's in the box?" will live with me forever. Good flick. Broken Flowers, 2005. Jim Jarmusch behind the camera and Bill Murray in front of it. Plus, this movie has a perfect ending. Marriage Story, 2019. My second favorite movie of last year has to be mentioned. Heart-wrencher of a movie. Uncut Gems, 2019. My favorite movie of last year. Cannot quite crack the top 10 of all time. Tension-filled with satisfying ending. The Safdie brothers are awesome, but they didn't quite make it. We got Dead Poets Society, 1989. Peter Weir directs and Robin Williams stars as an inspirational English teacher. Who doesn't like Dead Poets Society? Great movie.
Yeah, it's great.
Glengarry Glen Ross, 1992. This may be the best cast ever as Jack Lemmon, Alan Arkin, Al Pacino, Ed Harris, Kevin Spacey, Alec Baldwin, and Jonathan Pryce are all in this film adaptation of the David Mamet play. It's so good.
It is so good.
This one I actually watched again, and it was going to be in my top 10, and then it came out. Love this movie. Love it, but it's not quite good enough to make the top 10. It's so close. It's so close. Rounders, Rounders, 1998. Matt Damon, Ed Norton, and John Malkovich play some cards with some rather high stakes. It's a really good movie, and man, Ed Norton is so freaking annoying in it, and it's just so good. He's just he gets under your skin, and it's like, how are you his friend? But anyways, unbelievably so, my last honorable mention is The Shawshank Redemption, 1994.
Oh,
my top 10 must be pretty good if this film didn't make it. If this film doesn't make the cut, I mean, whoa. Or I'm just misled here, and I had a moment.
More like that.
Could be.
You had a moment, but it's okay.
Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman star in this Stephen King adapted short story. Shawshank's Redemption. It's at the top of most people's lists. Okay, Top 10 dramas of all time according to Bryce, which might be a little different than most people. Number 10, Hard 8, 1996. I believe this is Paul Thomas Anderson's best movie. Paul Thomas Anderson's first feature is my favorite film of his, and that is saying something. This one stars Philip Baker Hall, John C. Reilly, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Samuel L. Jackson. Pretty awesome cast for a first effort. Number 9, The Station Agent from 2003. Three unlikely individuals become friends in this star-making project for Peter Dinklage, Patricia Clarkson, and Bobby Cannavale also star. Just a really, really good movie. Must be. It's number 9 on the best dramas of all time. Number 8.
Must be.
Lost in Translation, 2003. Bill Murray shines in Sofia Coppola's second feature film. This was a perfectly paced, bittersweet masterpiece of a movie. Number 7, Wonder Boys from 2000. Michael Douglas, Frances McDormand, Tobey Maguire, and Robert Downey Jr. are in this story of an English professor with a few problems, both personally and professionally. Just a wonderful movie. Number 6. Now we get super serious with the drama. In the Bedroom from 2001. This movie digs about as deeply into every character as I've ever seen. The film runs you through the emotional spectrum from joy to anger to sadness. Very emotionally exhausting movie, but so good.
Basic's great in that too. She's amazing in that film.
Yeah. Number 5, No Country for Old Men from 2007. Javier Bardem stars as one of the most memorable characters in the history of cinema. Tension-filled masterpiece from the Coen brothers. Number 4. Yep. Number 4. I can't get enough of them Coens. Fargo from 1996. The Coen brothers again. This time with a movie that will make sure you never look at a wood chipper in the same way again. Then we've got number 3, The Horse Whisperer from 1998. Robert Redford directed this as well, and stars in a movie about the virtues of patience. I'm all about patience. That's why I like the Walken movies. Beautifully shot and beautifully acted, this movie follows a girl and her horse through both of their rehabilitations after an accident. I love this movie. Just love it. Number 2, Requiem for a Dream from 2000. Worth watching for Ellen Burstyn's performance alone.
For sure.
Darren Aronofsky's film about drug addiction will stay with you forever. Unforgettable adaptation of the Hubert Selby Jr. book. And my number 1 drama of all time, the movie that I probably first saw when I was about 12 years old, and I've probably seen it about 15 or 20 times since, and every time I just love this movie. It's To Kill a Mockingbird from 1962. Adaptation of the Harper Lee novel is my favorite drama of all time. Gregory Peck is the perfect Atticus Finch, who is one of the most decent characters that has ever been portrayed on the screen. This film is a coming-of-age tale and a courtroom drama, all perfectly rolled into one. It is sad at times, tension-filled at others, but ultimately inspiring. It is amazing that a movie made almost 60 years ago can still have such an impact upon viewing today. I think that everyone should see this film and, read the book too. It's a book. Read it. It's good. So that's my top 10 dramas, my friend.
Not bad. There's only one on there. I was not a big fan of. Like, it wouldn't have made my top, but otherwise it was a pretty solid list.
There you go.
Pretty solid. I won't even point out which one it was, so I'll let you think about that for the rest of your life.
Probably have an idea of what it was, but
Yeah, you can probably guess.
I probably
because I don't like boring things much.
Boring's awesome. I don't know what you're talking about. Too much is happening in movies these days. Less stuff has to happen.
A lot of nothing.
Yes.
Why is there not more nothing that's happening everywhere?
It kind of brings me back. I don't know. Vincent Gallo, the original cut of The Brown Bunny. If you ever get a chance to see it, it's awesome. It's I think the original cut's like almost 3 hours long, and it's got this sequence where it's just him riding his motorbike towards the camera from like just in the desert, like from so far away, and I think it goes for about 8 minutes, and it's fantastic. Because he's so far away that you can't even see him to start with. And that's the whole scene. He's just driving towards the camera. And it takes like 8 minutes for him to get to the camera. And it's so good.
It sounds like a freaking nightmare.
The only thing that would have been better if he wasn't riding the motorcycle and he was actually walking. But man, it's so good.
Then it would have been like 2 hours.
I know. Would have been like a 4-hour movie. It would have been awesome. I would have loved it.
I would have had to take acid. I would have to get up out of my chair, go find some acid on the streets, come back, sit in the theaters, and have something exciting to do for the rest of the movie.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Well, good list, man. We had dramas are fun.
Dramas are fun. You know what else is fun?
Temperature rising. Vision blurring. Rage taking over.
Well, that movie we watched earlier this weekend, The Stand at Paxton County, drove me to a level of rage that made me do research into corporate crapness. And actually, going back off of even last week's rage somewhat in regards to dramas, or maybe it was the week before. I don't know. Everything's running together after a while. But I cannot stand agenda-filled films, be it a political agenda. I cannot stand propaganda films unless it's made in super, super, super jest, like our buddies who do South Park when they did Team America, which is a bit of a reverse propaganda film, really. When you have big oil or big pharma or big anything funding a movie, it's almost like I wish that they would put a disclaimer. Please know that a majority of the money coming from this came from big oil. Or
I could get on board with that for sure. I like that idea.
Yeah, because you could go into the movie knowing, okay, I know that at the heart of this, they don't necessarily have the interest of everybody involved.
Brought to you by the douchebags that are trying to kill your planet.
Yeah, exactly. Now, granted, we know we talked about this when we talked about the drama or the documentary from the other week, that there isn't a lot of good options out there. So we had to find balance. But for us to do things like clear-cut forests to burn, like that doesn't make sense. Even the fact that we make what's that? Not biofuel, like any type of biofuel. So I remember when the first time I went to Husky, I think it was Husky, it was one of the first gas companies sort of in Canada that started serving biofuel. And I'm like, biofuel? What is this? What is biofuel? Like, granted, we know that using gasoline is not the greatest thing for our planet either. But to actually take food when people are starving and turn it into a fuel that we can use, it makes no sense to me. Now, taking fuel that is perhaps grease that comes out of the McDonald's greaser and turning that into fuel, that makes a lot of sense. And I know that that's the thing that happens with some biofuels. But to take actually really good corn or really good any type of product that could be used for food for people that are starving and to turn it into an actual fuel makes no sense to me when there's other options to create ways to push ourselves forward. There was a few years ago, and this is going a little off topic, I fell in love with the air car. Now, are you familiar with the air car? Right?
No, well, yeah, I'm familiar with it. Not sure what it has to do with your rage right now, but go ahead.
Well, it went from big oil down into the air car. The air car is created such, and you can buy these in India, and I believe there's a production house. There was one in France and Australia that are building cars that run on air. Like, how does that not sound good? You just fill up with compressed air and away you go.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, it's a bit of a spin-off from last week's Rage, specifically about documentaries. But this makes me angry when you've got people with big wallets who can just make movies, and we don't really start to realize it until we sort of halfway got through a movie, and then we do our research afterwards. Like, okay, who is behind this film? And then you start to realize, oh my God, just make good movies from books or well-written movies. Stop trying to push your political agenda on us, and don't make us love things more or hate things more because it benefits you. That's my rage.
I can't argue with that.
Damn, I love it when we argue.
Yeah, well.
Not this week.
Don't worry. Don't worry. It'll happen. All right.
What you got, baby?
Well, sir, this week, my open rage is the fact that Peter Weir made the movie Green Card in 1990. Here is why.
Very specific.
It is very specific. So here's why. As we have established, it is not easy to get on the Undoubted list. Darn near impossible, in fact. Especially when actors and directors make piss-poor decisions that make me shake my head. I've touched upon this before in a blanket rage, but let's look at one guy this time. In 1982, Peter Weir
Wait, can I interrupt you?
You can.
For a second? So, is your hatred of him making this movie as strong as it is for, say, our friend Michael Bay, the fact that he made any of his movies? Just so I have a level of rage.
No, this movie was a rage, but it's not. There's nothing's Michael Bay level of rage. It's just noisy crap.
Just a little.
At least nothing blew up in his ridiculous romantic comedy. All right. So, as I was saying, in 1982, Peter Weir made The Year of Living Dangerously, starring Mel Gibson, which can be summed up in one word: Mondo. He followed that up in 1985 with Witness, with Harrison Ford pretending to be Amish. That film can also be summed up in one word: Mondo. Then in 1986, he made a movie called The Mosquito Coast, starring Harrison Ford again. And granted, this movie is an extremely hard watch, but it also can be described by one word: Mondo. In 1989, we got a movie starring Robin Williams by the name of Dead Poets Society. And I believe there is a word that describes this movie. Oh yeah, the word is Mondo. Then in 1993, Mr. Weir made Fearless, which starred Jeff Bridges surviving an airplane crash, and I think there is a word that describes that movie. Yes, that word is Mondo. Now let's go forward to his next movie, 1998's The Truman Show, starring Jim Carrey. Kind of a groundbreaking movie. Now, if I had to describe this movie in one word, I think that word would be Mondo. This brings us to 2003's Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World, starring Mr. Russell Crowe, sailing the seas around South America. And how would I describe this film? Perhaps Mondo. This finally takes us to Peter Weir's last film, and perhaps his best, The Way Back from 2010. Three men, Jim Sturgis, Ed Harris, and Colin Farrell, escape from a Siberian gulag and walk 4,000 miles to freedom in India. Man, that's a lot of walking. Great movie.
It was a good movie.
Great movie that has a certain word that describes it. What is that word? What could it be? Oh yeah, I remember. Mondo. That is 8 Mondos in a row. That would make him undoubted forever, as it has been 10 years since his last film, and he's now 75 years old. So he seems to be retired. But wait, for some reason, he made an inexplicable film in 1990, right smack dab in the middle of his 8 Mondo efforts, right after Dead Poets Society and right before Fearless. Peter Weir made Green Card. Yes, that awful romantic comedy starring Gerard Depardieu and Andy McDowell. Here's the kicker, he wrote it as well. How is this movie sandwiched in the middle of these other 8 magnificent films? He could have been Mondo forever, and instead he ends up just another schmo. That is what one bad decision can do, my friend. That's my rage.
Well, you know, your rage kind of bleeds into the fact that perhaps Andy McDowell could be the curse.
She could.
And that potentially we may have to do a bit of research to see if she's actually been in. She could be a doubted. You might have missed your undoubted.
She's in 4 weddings. She was in 4 weddings and a funeral. I liked it.
Yeah, but how long ago was that?
That was quite a while ago.
It was. So potentially we have to go look at her. I'm just saying.
She's been in some bad movies.
That's what I'm saying. She could be the kiss of death. Maybe it's her.
I'll tell you. All right, sir.
Good rage, though, buddy. I loved it.
Thank you.
I loved every one of his movies. So, good call.
Oh, I missed it. I missed my cue.
Yes, you did.
Rage subsiding. Pulse slowing. Anger fading.
I should be allowed to run this board, man.
I'll help you soon enough, buddy.
So on that note, take 2.
Take 2.
Rage or Dare.
Dare. Last week on Rage or Dare, we see the boys having to watch the fantastic alien mother-ducking superhero film, Howard the Duck, produced by none other than George Lucas himself. Let's check in with the boys this week and see, was it rage or extra rage? Right? Tell me about Howard the Duck.
Okay. Howard the Duck was not good. I was hoping for some campy goodness, but was not even fun to watch on that level. Honestly, I kind of like the intro with Howard on his home planet in his apartment. I was thinking, maybe this won't be so bad. But alas, it was. It did not seem to be made for anybody. If they had gone all the way and made this an R-rated, no-holds-barred adult comedy, it could have had some potential. But instead it ended up being a watered-down mess with little to no redeeming qualities that could not possibly appeal to anyone. I did not like this movie, Jim. Painful rage.
Awesome. Well, I want to tell you, hello, Satan slut. I'm in love with the name of the all-girl biker gang. That's what I gotta say.
Uh-huh.
Quack foo, hell yes.
Quack foo.
Which most of the time means kicking people in the nuts. The cheese factor on this was 10 out of 10 quacks. Apparently, in Duck Earth, they don't wrap their condoms unless maybe Howard just needed to be ready at all times. Holy crap. Tim Robbins as a child/adult actor? Oh my God. I'm really hoping for an interspecial sex orgy. You know what they say, Earth girls are easy, especially rock babes. Ugh. This was a hard rage for me too, buddy. I could not get past the terribleness of it. And it's like, had I seen Tim Robbins in this and not seen him in everything else that he's done that's brilliant, I would have thought he would be on the doubted list for his entire life.
I thought, in an interesting aside, did you know that there were 8 separate actors that played Howard the Duck? One voice and a whole lot of, I guess, small people. I'm not sure. But man, it's 8. There are 8 people listed as Howard the Duck in this movie.
Well, that's a little bit better than when I had to watch Ed, which was only really 2 people to be the monkey.
Fair enough.
But didn't you think
how would they need 8 people to play Howard the Duck? How is that even possible? Did they just need to spend more money on this piece of crap? Because they spent a lot of cash on this.
They did spend a lot of money on it.
But, we need 8 people.
Did you notice when she pulled the condom out of his wallet? It wasn't wrapped, man.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
I was like, what? Like, is he just ready all the time?
He must be.
Gotta wear down on the latex. The hell, Howard? I
tell you. I guess as they went from location to location, they must have needed a different actor for every location they were in.
Maybe. Is this a superhero movie? Like, it's a comic book.
Yeah.
But is it a superhero movie?
I mean, Howard the Duck was in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, so, you know.
Yeah.
I guess this was,
you know what that means.
This kicked off the Marvel universe, man. This was phase 1. No matter what they say phase 1 was, this was the first movie in phase 1.
Yoink.
Phase 0, I guess.
It's a double rage. We've done our job, thanks to Murray and his sweet bag.
Yes.
Well, this week you've got to make a choice: rage or dare.
Okay, I'm always trying to remember what I did last time, and I can never remember. But
you pulled from the sweet bag
did
because you did a couple of weeks back to back of dare, and then you pulled from the sweet bag last time.
Did I? Well, let's do a couple weeks in a row of pulling from the sweet bag. Then we're gonna do it one more time. So.
You can pull from mine or Murray's bag.
Nah,
neither one of us are there.
I'm pulling from your bag.
All right. Get in there with all your hands.
All right. Well, it's got one of my favorite actors in it.
That's a plus. What is it? Keep us out of suspense.
And it's got, what's her name? Rihanna? It's got Rihanna. Rihanna's mother, right?
Now you're gonna get to know who she is.
Oh no, she was her mother in the movie Home. Okay, never mind. Gigli, starring.
Oh, Gigli.
Yes, starring Ben Huflack, one of my favorite actors of all time.
Well, maybe he can pull you out of this.
Did you see that The Way Back? I think that was this year. Man, that was a good movie, eh?
That was terrible, and this is going to be
good.
Just as terrible. It's got a 2.5 rating.
Man, if it's even close to as good as that, then it's going to be great. You know what? I'm trying to think. I actually think that I never saw this. I think somehow I avoided it.
Well, now you're going to see it, and it's 2.5 on the IMDb meter.
Oh, they're just being harsh.
Welcome.
You know what? There was a lot of Ben Affleck hating going on for a while there, so I think that was just a bunch of fanboys just being douchebags. I think this is going to be good.
Well, tune in next week, Ragers, where you'll get to see if Gigli makes Bryce rage.
It just can't be as bad as everybody makes it out to be. I'm looking forward to this. Gigli's going to be good. I'm liking it.
Yeah, good luck. All right, I guess that's it for this week.
Is it really? How can it be that?
Yeah,
for this
that's
week?
it.
What?
Yeah, we made it. We would have made it under an hour if we didn't talk about Gigli for too long.
Yeah, well, whatever.
All right. Thanks, Ragers, for listening. Thanks to the extended film rage crew of Murray on sabbatical, Leonard Conlon for his artistic vision and photography. We have Leonard Conlon Photography. And our cartoonist, Vaughn. Check us out on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Spotify. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and check out our website at filmrageyyc.com. We are always wanting your feedback, so send us messages. Go on our website, post stuff, tell us things. We want to make this a raging blast for all listeners, so please comment often and please make us rage. Please, please. That's it for this week. Rage on.
Rage on.